So Eddie, you've been running for a long time. How did you get started? Where did you come up?
Well, track and field as a whole, it was a sport for me to get better in my original sport. I've been an athlete my whole life. Started off playing baseball. My dad played baseball. He started playing in the Virgin Islands, and then got into the minor leagues, played some minor league ball for the Savannah Cardinals, and so on to the majors. So I started off with baseball, but being that my mom's family is in the States, America, South Florida, football is a thing. So, track was originally something that I did to get better at football. My sister's dad, he actually graduated from the University of Florida. He was a part of the 96 national championship team. His name is Aubrey Hill, wide receiver. So he was a part of that team, and he's been a coach. He's coached all over. And I played wide receiver. I started off as a quarterback, clearly from my baseball background. I was easiest. But just as I got older and I developed, I just kind of realized I had a different skill set. And then again, I realized I had a different skill set by trying track. So it was just something that I did to better myself. I love pushing my limits. That's the only way I feel alive. I don't really like, some things is definitely good to have balance and some things, but in other areas, I like to push myself. So that's pretty much what it was, and it became something that I loved because of how it was set up, being that what I put in is what I get out. In football, I played quarterback, so it didn't matter if I got my 5-step drop and knew my reads if my receivers couldn't get to the ball, or vice versa. When I played receiver, it didn't matter if I did my route right. If the quarterback couldn't get the ball to me, it didn't mean much. So track and field was the first time that I ever experienced a sport to where whatever I put in, I see the results, whether it be immediate or down the road. And that was something that I enjoy. Essentially, because I know that everyone doesn't have the same work ethic. I won't say mine is better or harder than anyone else's. I just know that everyone's isn't like mine. So track gave me that outlet to push my limits with no limit. Physical limits, yes, but as far as what, the work that I can put in, it's really just all based on me. It's on my pace, I can make the pace slow, I can make the pace faster. It's all on me. So yeah, it was just more satisfying than any other sport for me. And I just began to love it.
What age was that? What grade were you in when you started it as a second sport?
Ooh, finishing up my 10th grade year. So 11th grade, my 10th grade year, I jumped in like two random meets. Yeah, I almost made it to States my first year. Yeah, I almost made it to States my first year. In 2 meets, I almost made it to States. And almost making it to States, that kind of bothered me. Just because like it was so many things that I didn't know about hurdles, but I wanted to be there. So then I did summer track. I did summer track the whole year, and then went through my football season. I ended up breaking my arm my senior year, playing football. Again, the quarterback not being able to get the ball to me. But anyway, so I ended up breaking my arm. And then from there, I was just like, okay, you know what? I know I have a talent. I know it's talent that I have that I haven't discovered. So let me put my energy to something. So I just put all my energy to track, and things just kind of like happen. And so but I broke my arm my senior year. So my junior year, I actually made it to state and I ended up winning. I was the youngest guy there, and that was amazing too. Again, I was in a spot where I was forced to push myself, and I loved it, and things worked out. So going into my senior year, I just kind of put all my effort into it. According to Florida High School, the Athlete Association, they have parameters as far as how many times you can practice. I broke all the rules. I literally practiced whenever I could. I had it was my senior year. I only had 2 credits to finish. I could have graduated in July, but I decided I had some other things that I wanted to do back home still. And so I decided just to go through my whole senior year. And also I wanted to break the state record. So that was also a part of it too. So I just put all my effort into track and field. I had office aid in the mornings. I had a gym before lunch. I had a gym after lunch and then after school. So pretty much I would practice about 3-4 times a day. I would obviously break it up, but yeah, I would practice 3-4 times a day. And after that, I would just go home. And my only goal was to, not necessarily get up out of Dodge, but I got to go get something for myself. And it just wasn't where I was at. So, I knew I needed to get there, and that's what I did. I didn't have any offers early on. And then things started clicking. Within a matter of 3 weeks, I went from being number 100 and whatever to top 10 to number 1 in the state. I mean, not in the state. I'm sorry, number 1 in the nation. I ended up being number 1 in the nation. And so, and I also had a lot of guys, with me in my event that also pushed me. Some guys that would yap a lot. So, I kind of decided like, okay, when I meet you, we just gonna, we gonna do what it do. And it's funny because the guy, his name is Pablo Alvarez. He ran that Miami Beline Jesuit, big tall guy. He ran 13:63 at Florida State Relays, and so the state record was 59. I think it was 59. He ran 63 wind aided, and so obviously everybody, amen. I'm like, all right, bet. First time we ever got on the track together, he disqualified himself. And so I decided, all right, well, guess what? You ain't want to smoke, so you're going to just have to watch me do it. So I went out, I made the final, got close to actually the week before I ran 13:63 state. So that was regionals. No, was it 68? I think it was 68. 63, and then I ran 59. Was the record 56? However it was, I ended up smashing the state record. I ended up running 13:46. I believe the record was 59. And so yeah, I just I was just pushing my limits. I was stretching, doing my abs. I was ready to get things. I was ready to get things done. Even though I didn't have much technique. But I was fast and I was relentless. So, hurdlers need that. So yeah, I just so happened to have the attributes needed, just off raw talent, and just over time, I just, decided to dedicate myself to learning the technique. And things happen. I ended up, all of my offers came super late. Well, because I got running super late, So I ended up getting offers from South Carolina, LSU, and Florida. The only coach that came to visit me was Mouse.
Really?
Yeah, the only coach that came to visit me. Yep. Mouse was the only coach to come visit me. And I spoke to one coach, the coach at Florida State, but it's a funny story because it's actually part of the reason why I don't like Florida State. So pretty much when I won state, the coach at Florida State told me that he'll keep an eye on me. I was the best guy in Florida. And like I said, I was coming up, I ran 14:01. I think the guy that was best in the nation was there's a guy that ran in North Carolina. I forgot his name, but he used to do the 1, the 2, and the hurdles. Talented guy. Demetrius Lindo, is that his name?
I don't know.
I remember that. Yeah, I think that's the name. But very talented. He could do any event, and yeah, I was like, all right. So I already knew where I needed to be, and like I said, I just put in the work. Things kind of happened. Mouse talked to me based on, and this was before I broke the state record. This was actually 2 weeks before I broke it. He offered me a full ride when I ran like 68. And he was just like, yeah, he came to my house and, he was talking and everything. And I'm like, listen, like, what's the offer? Like, you know, all these papers look good, but like, you know, I'm here for the offer. That's you know, I believe you're here for the offer. So he said I had a full ride, and to me that was just added motivation. So it was like in my mind I already knew I was a Gator. So even in that race, I'm like, hey, you know, even before the race, I did my Gator chomp. I did in the state meet, we actually finished second with 4 people. I ran the 110s, I did the 4x1, I did the 300s, I did 300 hurdles, I did triple jump, and the 4x4.
Triple jump.
So, man, I jumped
a lot
like
of events, man.
Yeah, no phases, you know, just speed. You know how I do. Just speed. It was pop, 46, like 5 or something like that. So yeah,
so
I was just
so you're coming up.
My limits.
So you're coming up in Florida. Florida's one of the top track states. You're getting better and better. You're dropping times in the hurdles, and now you're going to the University of Florida on a full scholarship.
Right.
So you didn't grow up in St. Thomas. You grew up in Florida. Where you're from?
St. Croix.
What's that? Oh, you're St. Croix.
Yeah,
You know what? It's Tabari that's St. Thomas.
It's
okay. Tabari Henry. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't have
my bad. I didn't mean to. You know. I wouldn't want to be called a St. Tomian either. So you know.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's all love, but I'm
these Crucians.
I'm
Okay.
St. Croix.
Hey.
You already know.
All I'm saying, there's nothing wrong with them. You know, I'm just you're cruising. You know.
Yeah.